Season 2 of Netflix's Western series Ransom Canyon will have to make some adjustments to the book series of the same name, written by Jodie Thomas. Although there are many differences between Netflix's Ransom Canyon and the original 2015 novel, most of the characters that are included in the book are also featured in the show. The ending of Ransom Canyon Season 1 saw Staten Kirtland walk away from his up-and-down romantic relationship with Quinn O'Grady, his deceased wife's best friend and the one who got away. Furthermore, Lucas struggles to decide where to go to college with his high school sweetheart, Lauren Brigman, in mind. The Ransom Canyon book series, written by Jodie Thomas, features many new characters outside of Netflix's Ransom Canyon Season 1 cast. While several of the first book's characters reappear in the later books, specifically Staten, Quinn, Lauren, Lucas, and the mysterious drifter Yancy Gray, they become more supporting characters in future books, making room for new protagonists such as Angela Harold, Jubilee Hamilton, Parker Lacey, and Gabe Snow. With this in mind, April Blair, who developed Ransom Canyon for Netflix, will likely have to cherry-pick across the Ransom Canyon book series and create new storylines to retain Season 1's cast of characters for Season 2. Staten and Quinn get married and have children. This occurs in Books 1 and 2 of the book series. One of the biggest omissions from the original Ransom Canyon novel in the Netflix series was Quinn getting pregnant with Staten's child. In fact, the entire origin of Staten and Quinn's relationship was altered in the Netflix series, painting their will they, won't they dynamic with much more miscommunication and mystery. In the novel, Staten and Quinn are romantically engaged more frequently and casually before discovering that they have strong feelings for each other. About halfway through the Ransom Canyon book, Quinn gets pregnant and decides to raise her firstborn with Staten, who is initially hesitant. In the second Ransom Canyon book, titled Rustler's Moon, which was published in 2016, a new protagonist named Angela Harold spots Quinn and Staten around town with their firstborn. For the record, the town in the books is called Crossroads, Texas, not Ransom Canyon. Angela notes that Quinn is pregnant again in Rustler's Moon, hinting that Quinn and Staten successfully get married and start a family in Netflix's Ransom Canyon Season 2. While this certainly does not seem like the case at the end of Netflix's Ransom Canyon Season 1, Staten and Quinn should end up with a happy ending, eventually, based on the source material. Lauren moves to Dallas and Lucas becomes an attorney in Austin. Their dynamic resurfaces in Books 5 and 6. Lauren and Lucas talk seriously while sitting on the stairs in Ransom Canyon. In the Ransom Canyon book series, Lucas commits to Texas Tech University, which is different from the Netflix series in which Lucas is struggling to choose between a slate of the country's most elite colleges. In the 2017 Ransom Canyon book Wild Horse Springs, the fifth of the series, Lauren graduates from college and lives in Dallas. At this point, several years after the events of Netflix's Ransom Canyon Season 1, Lucas is far behind her in her personal rearview mirror. Lucas lives on the other side of the state in Austin, Texas, where he works as a young attorney. Lauren also has another love interest in Dallas named Tim in Wild Horse Springs, a new character not featured in Ransom Canyon Season 1. Interestingly, Wild Horse Springs claims that Tim and Lauren have been best friends since they were teenagers in Crossroads, meaning that they both know Lucas very well. Lauren has her heart broken by Lucas prior to the events of Wild Horse Springs, but their relationship seems to get yet another chance in the future. Lucas and Lauren's will they, won't they dynamic is the backbone of the entire book series. They finally get their happily ever after moment in Indigo Lake, the sixth and final book of the Ransom Canyon series. Yancy Gray finds a new love interest after Ellie. An artist named Tori first appears in Book 4. Yancy Gray played by Jack Schumacher in Ransom Canyon. Yancy Gray's secret wife shows up at the end of Netflix's Ransom Canyon Season 1, setting up a massive cliffhanger for Season 2. In Rustler's Moon, Yancy works as a handyman at the retirement community in Crossroads, which he did not do in the Netflix show. He also becomes fixated and unnerved by the Gypsy House in town, another feature left out of the Netflix adaptation, which in time dives deeper into his troubled past. In the fourth book of the Ransom Canyon series, Sunrise Crossing, Yancy still lives in Crossroads after serving prison time for petty theft. He tries to put his life back together and rebuild an old house in town when he comes across a mysterious, beautiful woman named Tori who is hiding in his loft. For fans of Yancy Gray in the Netflix series, Sunrise Crossing focuses on his backstory more than any other book. Yancy's new love interest, Tori, is a famous artist who is evading her greedy parents. Eventually, Tori helps Yancy out on his ranch and Yancy and Tori fall in love, which doesn't sound very good for Yancy's future with Ellie in Netflix's Ransom Canyon Season 2. Sheriff Dan becomes more of a main character. The lawman gets another shot at love in Book 5. Sheriff Brigman sits behind his desk in Ransom Canyon Season 1. Sheriff Dan Brigman, Lauren's father, who arrested his wife, Margaret, at the end of Netflix's Ransom Canyon Season 1, also gets his shot at love in the Ransom Canyon book series. In Book 5, Wild Horse Springs, Dan finds a mysterious cowgirl boot in the middle of a highway, which leads him to discover a country singer named Brandy, who travels from gig to gig trying to escape her troubled past. Dan and Brandy get to know each other, and Dan falls for Brandy. He eventually asks her to stay in Crossroads, but doesn't want to hold her back. Now that Margaret is out of the picture in the Netflix series, Brandy seems like a plausible addition to Ransom Canyon Season 2, or most notably, Davis Collins isn't mentioned much in the latter installments of the Ransom Canyon book series. This makes sense, considering that many aspects of his villainous character were invented purely for the Netflix series. For example, Yancey never colluded with Davis to get Staten and Cap Fuller to sell their ranches. Davis also didn't work for Austin Water and Power in the book series, either. Whatever happens with Davis in Ransom Canyon Season 2 will more than likely be developed part from the source material, as he and Staten's politician father try to force him out of being the sole trustee of his Double K ranch.